Welcome to the Event Answer Studio. Today I'm making this 6.5 foot tall balloon popsicle. To make the popsicle stick, you're going to need 4 5-inch blush balloons, and I'm going to inflate these with 3 pumps of air using a hand pump or until they're about 4 inches in diameter. Now I'm going to tuck the first one under my fingers while I inflate the second balloon to the exact same size. Then we're going to take these 2 balloons and tie them into a pair by wrapping the nozzles around twice and tying them in a knot. Once you've got the pair created, you're going to make a second pair to the exact same size and overlap these pairs so that the nozzles touch in the center, and then twist one balloon from each of those pairs around each other, locking it into a quad. You'll need 4 of these 3-pump quads, and then we're going to make 3 more quads, but this one has one 4-inch pair and one 4.5-inch pair. Twist these together and that will create a longer quad and give our popsicle stick the look of a flat side and a short side. This popsicle is built on a 6.5 foot stand. Slip one of the smaller quads onto the stand so that the pole is sitting right against the nozzles of that quad, and then take the 2 balloons with the pole in between them and twist them around each other, locking it in place. Then you're going to arrange the balloons so that 2 of them point towards the front. Next, I'm going to add the longer quad by slipping it onto the pole, twisting it in place, and then arranging these balloons so that the bigger ones point out the sides of the popsicle and the smaller ones point towards the front and the back. You want the small one to always sit between the 2 balloons below it. From here, I'm going to alternate back and forth adding the smaller and bigger blush quads until all 7 of the quads are added to the stand. As I add these balloons, I want to make sure they're all sitting nice and snugly together so there's no major gaps, and all of those large balloons are in a straight line up the sides of the design. For the main part of the popsicle, you'll need 21 5-inch quads, 12 quads inflated to 7 inches in diameter, and 2 quads that are inflated to 6.5 inches in diameter. Attach a 5-inch quad onto the stand just like we did the blush balloons. Arrange the balloons of this quad so that one of them points out the front of the design and sits between the 2 blush balloons below it. Next, attach a 7-inch quad right on top of the 5-inch, making sure 2 balloons of this quad are facing out towards the front and everything is snugged nicely together. Continue adding quads, alternating back and forth between 5-inch and 7-inch balloons until there's a total of 7 5-inch quads and 7 7-inch quads on this pole. With the center of the popsicle assembled on the stand, we now need to sandwich this with 2 garlands to widen out our popsicle. And to make those garlands, you're first going to tie 2 260 balloons end to end before tying that string then to one of the nozzles of a 7-inch quad. I find it helpful when making these garlands to hold the string in one hand and start off with the quad resting on a table. Now I'm going to grab a 5-inch quad and nestle it right on top of my 7-inch quad, making sure the balloons are nestled nice and snugly together. Pull the 260 string up to the center of the 5-inch quad and wrap it around 2 of those balloons, securing the quads in place. Layer on a 7-inch quad, pull that 260 up to the center and wrap it around 2 of those balloons. Alternate adding 5 and 7-inch balloons until there are 6 5-inch and 6 7-inch quads all tied together, making sure that as you add these balloons, you keep that 260 string stretched nice and tight so all the balloons are pulled together. Next, you're going to tie on the 6.5-inch quad. Because it's slightly smaller, it'll give the top corners of our popsicle a gentle curve. Tie a 5-inch quad to the very end, and then take any remaining 260 tail and wrap it around a couple of balloons back in the garland, and then tie it in a knot to one of the nozzles. Make a second garland in the exact same way, and then we're going to move back to the center section of the popsicle. Sandwich one of these garlands right next to the center section, so the 5-inch balloons on the garland are nestled right next to the 7-inch balloons of the center section. Then you're going to take a 260 balloon, tie it to one of the nozzles of the garland, stretch it tight, and wrap it around the topmost 7-inch balloons of the center section. Stretch the 260 down around the 5-inch balloons below those, and then straight across back out to the garland and around the 7-inch balloons right below where we started. I'm going to continue this pattern by moving down and over, and that will stitch these 2 balloon garlands together, making them one piece. Now, once you get to the end of the 260 that's in your hand, tie another 260 directly to the end of it and keep moving down the popsicle. I'm going to add the second garland to the other side of the popsicle in the exact same way. Now I'm showing this with the popsicle standing upright so that you can see what I'm doing more easily, but this step is much easier to execute if the entire popsicle is laying flat on a table or the floor. I also have a set of written plans to go along with today's project. These include step-by-step instructions, full color illustrations, as well as a complete supply list for 3 popsicle designs, one with a stand, one without a stand, and one that's upside down that looks like it's melting. You can find this linked in the description box below. Once all 3 sections are secured together, it's important to take a moment and arrange the balloons so they all nestle nice and tightly together. You want the side balloons of the 5-inch quads to nestle right between the 7-inch balloons sitting next to it. This will make it so there's no gaps and everything fits nicely together. And now these popsicles are ready for any kind of sweet treat event that you've got planned. So until the next time, remember, stay creative, everybody!